The 21st century has been the setting of unprecedented innovation and globalization. As globalization expands and flourishes, people who have experienced and acquired a better understanding and knowledge of other cultures are greatly becoming sought for. Studying abroad has become a popular and a widely acknowledged form of interacting and experiencing new cultures while simultaneously pursuing for education. An emerging destination for international students is a new arising global power, China. As reported by Project Atlas, in 2004, China had 110,844 international students enrolled in higher education, while in 2014, that number increased to 377,054 students, more than 3 times in 10 years. But for the students who choose to come here to leave their families and homes behind for the sake of a new adventure and experience, they arrive at an environment they may have never been in before, with the commitment of having to stay there for months or years.
For those who have never been put into such a situation, this might arouse some curiosity regarding the experience of an outsider. Exactly how hard is it for international students in Shanghai to integrate into the local society, culture, and education system? And what are factors that might influence the social participation of a foreign student in a city like Shanghai? Of course, there's no single fixed answer to this question, since all humans do not experience or interpret their experiences equally. Yet in this research, we will try to find out whether and how cultural background is playing a role in social participation of international college students in Shanghai. In the following few minutes, we will display to you the interview results, the survey results, and our critical analysis, including the conclusion from the results, as well as our methods to improve the social participation for international college students in Shanghai.
Okay, so I'm from Australia. My hometown is a really small town. I have one older brother, one older sister, and yeah, we live in a small town, but I live in another city to go to university, to an international high school, and pretty much all the students were Chinese. And so I learnt a bit of Mandarin then, and I wanted to learn some more so I could understand them. And then I went to university, and I decided my major would be Mandarin. And so I thought, I finished all 3 years of Mandarin at my university, so I thought, if I don't go to China, I will forget it all. I've got 1 year here, and then when I get back, I've got half a year until I graduate. I feel comfortable in Shanghai because it was easy to make friends, because we're all trying to learn Hanyu, so we had that in common. But in Shanghai life, generally for foreigners in Shanghai, like expats, the life is a little bit expensive here. The restaurants it's cheaper compared to Australia, but for foreigners here, it seems there's a lot of like fancy restaurants and cafes and bars. But so that's a bit different. I would say I'm very willing, but I've made more Chinese friends in Australia than I've made here. Yeah, because there's no Chinese people in my class or.
Oh, so all your class are made up of international students?
Yes.
Okay.
So I haven't really made any Chinese friends.
International students, they have courses together, they live together, and yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So I have no Chinese friends, but I made Chinese friends in Australia that I contact while I'm here. That I've met in Shanghai.
Wow, that's a pity though.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit. I should try and change that. But there's no Chinese people around me. I mean, there's Chinese people everywhere, but not in close enough. Twice a week, I organise a group of people to play soccer, and so I've met quite a few Chinese people there just playing soccer. I think Chinese people that I've met are really helpful. So they will. Well, the Chinese friends I have are just really helpful to me when I came to Shanghai, and just like I had one of my Chinese friends. She met me at the airport and
Oh, she picked you up.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
and so I was really grateful for that. So probably that is just really helpful. I'm grateful for that.
I think our national people little bit stressful every day. Maybe.
Which city do you come from?
In Daejeon, it's not it's from near Seoul.
How is the study life in Shanghai similar or different from your expectations? Like, yeah.
I think it's very similar with Asian country. For example, China and Japan and Korean. They have to study for exam and yeah.
Yeah.
So
True,
and
true.
then it is
Very
difficult to find some job in own country.
Is life here comfortable, and are you getting well along with others?
Yeah, I think it's
Oh, because if you
now I
you can-
more comfort than before.
oh, so
Yeah,
you
because-
mean when you first came here, it's still
Yeah,
a little-
it is difficult to how to say habit to something eat drink or it's
Oh, so the diet. Right.
yeah.
That-
So a
okay.
little bit oil.
But now it's
Yeah.
getting better.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you like your Chinese friends?
Chinese people more open about other country of people. For
Okay,
example,
understand.
yeah, for in Shanghai, many people studying here. Here have a many different culture in China also. So each city have a different feeling.
Like, what are some of the obstacles that hinder you from getting more deeply involved in social life?
After we graduated university in China, we also really difficult to find some job in China because main Chinese university student can speak English well, and they already have many background for getting information.
Because China
Yeah,
is
because they like to read something and meet friends.
yeah.
So
True.
yeah.
I mean,
so
so the companies will prefer Chinese locals.
yeah. So
So my cultural background is a bit more different. So I'm born in the Soviet Union. When I was 9 years old, my family moved to Germany because my grandfather is also German. So the important aspect is I have many cultural backgrounds, like I know the culture of Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Because I grew up in a very multilingual environment. I think the Chinese language is just very different, and I'm just very curious. The reason to study Chinese is, of course, also if you live in Germany or in the Western world, it's always in the news every couple of weeks or months that China is the biggest economy, China is growing, China, invest in China, money, China. Yeah, so this is why I'm not studying Latin because China, it sounds like a language that will be used in the future and can be used to earn money. From my expectations, different was just that there's only class, like language class, back then in the bachelor when I was just in Taiwan for the language class, and it was everyday language class, and that's it. It's like not as guided maybe as expected. I stayed in the in the dorm, and it was not in Taiwan. There was in the Jiangda NCCU. There is a thing called I-House, International House. It's like the foreigners' dorm. It's more expensive, but I stayed in the cheaper version of the international dorm. So there were many Chinese people and Taiwanese people, but also foreigners from European countries. So this is where I made contacts with the local people. yeah, of course, the point you said that most of the time I'm also with my German fellow students. Uh, Also international students, also like our like in the language class, there are also no Chinese.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I have the opportunity that sometimes we make a field trip to. We made a field trip to the Procuriat in Kunshan, and also some other events there where other Chinese people were present, so I could make some friends there. Then my answer is like Eastern European or Russian people or people from like Kazakhstan or those Stan countries that are Soviet Union countries because of the similarities that arise from being part of a communist country. Because communism shapes society in a certain way, and people from those countries don't have there are some similarities between communist countries. And if they arrive in China, they for them not many things are different. For them, some things are just like at home. For example, for Germans, the big difference is that rules are not applied in the same way that rules are applied in Germany. In Germany, if there's a rule that A equals 1, then A always equals 1. And in China, it's like, oh, yeah, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, but it depends, and you can change.
In addition to individual interviews, we also conducted a survey, from which we collected 43 effective responses, including the responses from Philippines, Korea, Indonesia, United Kingdom, USA, Japan, Germany, Pakistan, Nepal, and so on. And from the survey results, it shows that there are more students that say less than half of their friends consist of Chinese people. From this research, we also did a survey on the correlation between the openness of personality and the number of Chinese friends. And the results shows that the openness of personality does not seem to correlate much with the percentage or number of Chinese friends. People who characterized themselves as more open did not necessarily have more or a higher percentage of Chinese friends, so it seems that personality may not necessarily play a role. We have also found out that people who were already advanced in Chinese when they first came to Shanghai have more Chinese friends, and people who participate in school activities tend to speak some Chinese or have a decent amount of Chinese friends. And the only thing that has something to do with the cultural background is that Asian students' friend groups had generally a slightly higher percentage of Chinese people. And here comes the analysis part. First is the analysis for interviews. Most students found the life in Shanghai comfortable regardless of their cultural background. Regarding the degree on how involved in Shanghai they are, many say life is comfortable and easy to get used to in Shanghai. However, the interviewees also suggest that, although it's in China, it's hard for them to make Chinese friends because the environment built around them does not let them interact as much with Chinese students. Their classes are mostly made up of international students rather than Chinese students. They attend class separately, which make it hard to make local friends. And this is also a systematic problem that needs to be settled. Then it comes to the analysis for surveys. Students from NYU Shanghai generally seem to have a higher number of Chinese friends. The reason for this might be that international students here have more accessibility to interact with Chinese students. In addition, no clear relevance between nationality and social performances is found, according to the results of the surveys. Finally is our two conclusions. The first conclusion is that though most people were interviewed and surveyed agree that cultural background is playing a role, yet it is not clearly shown throughout the research. But one interesting fact we have found is that people who have a multicultural background tend to get more easily involved in Shanghai life, which is not hard to be understood.